season and spending some time with you. Everybody has reported, to my knowledge. Everybody has made their playing weight. We asked them to return in shape. It appears every man has done that. That's very exciting. And we're coming off a 3-day rookie quarterback selected veterans camp that I was very, very pleased with. So we're excited to get going. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can.
Go ahead and speak up, guys.
Hey, John. Tyree from The Athletic. You've had 4 draft classes since you made your return to the franchise. Just as a coach, how do you balance, being patient with guys and allowing them time to develop, and also kind of pushing them to make an immediate impact and help you all, and keep being able to win out?
Well, we asked these guys to be ready to go from the time they step in here. And a lot of them have done that. Colton Miller's done a great job. We've had a lot of rookies come in here and start. We're still waiting, I think, to get the dividends from some of these guys, but it's been a challenge without an off-season program. I don't think the story's written on some of these guys yet. But to answer your question, we're demanding of our rookies. Just because you get drafted in the first round or any round doesn't mean you're going to make the team or be a great player. There's no guarantees in this league, as you know, but we're pleased with our young people from the last few draft classes, and we're confident that they'll prove that this fall.
John, obviously COVID still kind of hovers over. Where are you guys with the vaccination, and do you feel like that's going to be any kind of an issue this year for you guys?
Well, I hope not. I've never really given statistics on COVID vaccinations, but I would say that we have every man vaccinated on the staff. I could also say that I believe we have every man vaccinated on the team with the exception of about 4 or 5 guys. So we're proud of that. We're excited about that. We're also respectful of everybody's personal opinion. So we have to weigh that as well. But when it comes to vaccinations, we think most of our people have been just that, vaccinated.
John, Levi with the Raiders.com. Yesterday, Darren Waller made some comments about Alex Leatherwood as well as Andre James. Has those 2 players, in your regards, met your expectations or exceeded your expectations so far this offseason?
Well, we haven't put a pad on yet, so I'm not gonna say too much. It's been a big topic. Our offensive line, never want to lose good players. Never want to lose good players at any position, but we did. We lost some good players. And the salary cap went down this year for the first time, I believe, ever. There were some financial decisions that we had to make. We feel like we've got some emerging players, Andre James being one of them. Colton Miller, we felt we had to get extended. You see some of these young left tackles, what they've extended their contracts for. It's astonishing. It's big money. And we love Leatherwood. We loved him at Alabama. He's off to a great start. And he's got to back it up, and we're going to try to help him. I have no doubt about him as a football player.
We could follow up just on your comments about COVID vaccinations. Last year, you used the phrase "crush the virus" a lot. Back and forth, a lot of issues. Are there things you learned from last year in terms of you're seeing a little bit of a surge with cases in terms of implementing your own protocols, reminding guys, hey, this is still something out there, and just your own rules and guidelines for this team to sort of follow and abide by, vaccinated or not?
Well, we hired a guy, Tim Harkins, who's one of the very best at understanding the virus, and that's what he does on a daily basis. He provides information. He gives us reminders. He keeps us on the cutting edge of what's going on out there. But yeah, we basically remodeled our facility last year to keep our social distancing. We learned the hard way. I got fined. The Raiders got fined. Wasn't easy, but it was part of the process. We lost a lot of players last year because of COVID. So did other teams. So, we're not going to totally disregard where this virus is and the variants that are out there. But I'm not an expert on the virus. I'm just trying to get our football team ready to play, and I'm going to do the best I can to carry out the protocols that the league has and what our medical people advise. And we will do our very best.
John, Ed Green, Review Journal. Just staying on that, whether it was coming in early last year when some teams said don't come in, now with the COVID, in your locker room, do you believe there's a leadership where if there is kind of inherent pressure on guys to either get vaccinated or, but like I said, before come in, is that the leadership you think is in that room, or do you
Well, I think every man, every woman, every person has their own opinion on what they want to do. You know, there's some people that are strongly opposed to getting the vaccination. There's people that think it's a slam dunk. I should get it right away as soon as I can. And, you know, I can't speak for everybody. I respect everybody's opinion. And I don't want to create any controversies or any distractions. We're going to do everything we can to get our players what they need to help them be successful.
John, you know, we talked, Eli David from USA earlier. You tend to talk a lot about the players that you want to step up and going into the next season. What about a guy like Darren Waller? Where does he go from here? What areas do you think that he can step up in this game as well?
Well, you know, he's just got to keep being Darren Waller. You know, he has done an incredible job playing wide receiver, tight end, in the slot. He's come out of the backfield. He's smart. He's versatile. He's a complete player. He can block, pass, protect. You know, I've never been around a guy that's that unselfish, that talented, and that versatile, and that complete. We got to continue to build around him now. We got to get some of our young receivers to take pressure off of him, and we've put some more things in our playbook. We're going to be a lot more demanding of Waller going forward. We got to continue to try to probe some matchups and get him in places where we can get him the ball.
John, you had a full offseason with this group. Do you feel like you have a pretty good handle on free safety, slot cornerback, and that cornerback spot opposite Trayvon Mullen? And where does David Arnett kind of fit into the whole scheme of things?
Well, we drafted Arnett in the first round. He was an opening day starter, so he's a big part of us moving forward. He had the virus. He had an injury to his thumb. He also had concussion injuries, so he was an incomplete performer for us last year. But he's as good a corner as we have talent-wise on this team. We think he and Trayvon Mullen, Casey Hayward, some of the other people that are in the mix now give us depth competition and some interesting matchups. So I'm fired up about the secondary. The safety is completely unsolved. We've got some high draft choices there playing down. We got some high draft choices playing deep, and we have a great secondary coach in Ron Milas. So if I'm a Raider fan, I'm coming out here watching practice. I'm going to keep a close eye on this secondary. It should be a strength of ours. If it isn't, we've made some real mistakes.
John, what are your expectations for Nicholas Morrow, and do you think he'll be able to really step up and be a key leader of the team?
He's one of my most, I guess he might be one of my favorite players. This is his time. You know, if you know anything about Morrow, you have to tell me where he went to college and where exactly that is. He comes from a very obscure background. If you watched him play college football, he was returning kickoffs. He was playing all over the place. He comes to the Raiders. He makes it as a rookie. He finds a way to get on the field. And now he's got a chance, I think, to be a captain for us. I think he's got a chance to be a difference maker for us in the middle of our defense. But time will tell. We got a long way to go, but I really like him. He's had a great spring, and I think he's on the rise. I think his time is right now.
John, Divine Diablo, can you shed any light on that situation? Also, Tanner Muse coming back from his toe injury. Where does he kind of fit in this team?
Yeah, Muse can run. He can really run. He played safety at Clemson. You know, no off-season program. No, I'm not making excuses. It was tough on him, and then he got hurt. So here's another draft choice that is completely an unsolved mystery, but he's healthy. He's ready to go. Richard Smith has been coaching linebackers for the last 30 years in this league. He likes them. He's going to be a special teams contributor. I know that. Divine Diablo tweaked his knee. He had a knee procedure done. We expect to have him back in the next couple weeks. But here's another young guy that can really run. He has a bright eye, a really alert, I think, understanding of football, and he's got a big upside for us.
John, I know it's still early, but how have you seen the defensive side, guys on the defensive side of the ball take to maybe the support of Gus Bradley so far?
Well, it's been fun to watch. No disrespect to Paul, but we have a completely different group of players too. But Gus is he's a high energy coach. He's upbeat, positive. He's philosophical. He's fun to be around. He makes you laugh, but he also pushes you. And I think what's going to make this defense go is how we rush the passer, how it goes up front. And Yannick is a difference maker. I mean, I feel him every time I see him on the grass. And Max is on the rise. I think another young player. Really impressed with Kuntz. Malcolm Kuntz has made an impression. And if we can improve up front, I think this defense will be much improved.
So when you talk about that safety position kind of being unsolved a little bit, did Tyree Gillespie kind of put himself into that picture a little bit?
Yeah, he's definitely in the picture. He's a big hitter. He's a guy that can tackle in space in one-on-one situations. Dominant special teams player, and we don't take that lightly. But we think he can play in the post, and we think he certainly can play down low around the line of scrimmage. Might even have some dime linebacker capabilities down the road.
While talking about rookies, it seems like for a sixth-round pick, there's a lot of excitement around Nate Hobbs. I know you haven't seen him in pads yet, but just being around him and getting to know him, you kind of see where that's coming from.
Yeah, you can tell he has quite a pedigree. You know, coached by Lovie Smith. If you know Lovie, he's a great coach, a great defensive coach for sure. And Nate is very professional for a young man, very poised, a lot of knowledge, and doesn't make the same mistake twice. He has good quickness. I think he's got pretty good coverage skills, and I think he has the versatility to play inside or out. But right now he's doing a really nice job as the nickel corner.
John, how different does it feel for you right now to actually have had an off-season program as opposed to last year when you're dealing with the pandemic, just trying to, I haven't even met a lot of these guys before camp started. Now, here you are.
Well, it's been great. You know, certainly we have 2 huddles going at once. No one got to see us. But Mariota, who really didn't get any off-season, you saw what he could do against the Chargers. He had a chance to put his hands on the offense, get to call different plays and do different things. Henry Ruggs and Edwards, getting them an opportunity to switch positions and do different things. Getting Foster Morrow back at 100% been very exciting. Having a chance to teach his defense has been huge. And to see new leadership emerge. And more importantly, I think the Raiders have always had some camaraderie on the team, some unity. I think we've come together and gotten to know each other, actually like each other. And that's going to help us when adversity hits. And it's going to help us push each other, I think, to another level.
John, is there any aspect of the team that you saw in the camp that especially intrigued you that you're really looking forward to seeing in the field?
Yeah, really everyone's new. You know, we have a new offensive line, a new right tackle, potentially a couple new starters up front, as you know. Kenyon Drake made his presence felt. He's really interesting. I really like the addition of John Brown. You know, Smoke can still run. And the defensive line, I'm really excited about Phylon. He reported at 296 pounds. He's been out of football for a while. Solomon Thomas, I think he's got a chance to really put it all together here. Quentin Jefferson has some success in this league. And Ngakoue, I just feel Ngakoue. I feel Ngakoue at a different point in his career now. I think he can be a leader and a captain on this team. And a young secondary, I'm most excited to watch these guys compete and play. And I'll be really upset if they're not worth the price of admission.
John, the last couple of off seasons, there's always a question because of this Derek Carr. Is he the quarterback that can take his team to the postseason? This past season, with the swirling conversation around Aaron Rodgers, how impressed do you just continue his maturity to just sort of stay focused on his team and Derek coming in with his leadership and sort of establishing the trust with his receivers and his unit?
Well, you just can't worry about, you know, some of the swirling conversations. I was a part of those swirling conversations for 9 years. You know, we have to earn our money. So don't pay attention to everything that's being written. You know, Derek knows what he's all about and what kind of quarterback he is. So, you know, just try not to listen to the elevator music and worry about the things you can't control. He's a heck of a guy. He's a really mentally tough guy. And he's a really good quarterback that is really starting to play great for us, and I think people are starting to recognize that.
John, you mentioned your defensive line. Clint Farrell, before the injury and COVID-19 last year, was grading out among the best in the league, really, top 15 or so. Where
I don't know who does all these grades. You know, we got a lot of grades out there. My grades aren't very good, so I don't agree with a lot of the grades. But, you know, Farrell, he's a good player. He's a good player. He's unique. I think he's unique because he can play right end. He can play left end. He's a good run defender. I think his best pass rush might be inside. And you saw that against the Jets when we allowed him to do that last year. But certainly he's going to be competing. He and Carl Nassib, who had a really good spring, you know, they're going to have to earn their snaps. And if you know Clee, you know he will compete, and you probably should count on him being a big part of this.
If you're talking about grades, what grade are you giving this team last year? You personally.
Well, we're a C. You know, we're 8 and 8. I think that's, you know, the best of the worst of the best. We have some good moments. We prove we can compete in the AFC West. You know, we're a couple plays away from being really good in the AFC West, and we prove we can compete on the road. And I'm hoping that I can somehow find a way to help our team compete better in our Allegiant Stadium here, because it is a spectacular place. But I'm not into grades. You know, I'm into winning championships, and we've got a long way to go, and we're confident that we're getting better, and we need our fans to help us, that's for sure.
Let's do two more.
What type of leap are you looking for from your young wide receivers, especially now that they've had time to build chemistry with Darren Carr, like Ruggs and Bryant?
Yeah, you have no idea how much I'm excited about those guys. I mean, I think I hurt my arm hugging Ruggs when he walked in today, you know. Ruggs got hurt in the first game last year against Carolina. I think he caught a bomb, and then we ran a quick out in Charlotte. He got hurt. Managed to play a little bit against New Orleans, but then he missed the Patriot game, missed a couple games, and then he had COVID. Look, he's a difference maker with his speed. You know, he can beat you bad with speed. And I think the more experience he gets with Derek, with Brian, with Hunter Renfrow and Waller and the guys, I think the better and better he's going to get. And I think he learned from Aguilar, and we're going to miss Nelson Aguilar. And that's one of the reasons why John Brown is here, because Brown can make big plays at top speed, and he can teach Henry, you know, how to run certain routes that he hasn't run before. But it's a unique group of receivers. They're great guys, and I don't want anybody to forget Zay Jones. I don't think we have a better conditioned athlete than Zay Jones, and Keelan Doss is another guy that if you saw him when he got here and you saw him when he walked in today, it would really impress you. He's obviously going to compete too.
Coach, Q Myers, Raider Nation Radio 920, and I know Darius Stills is on the non-football injury list, but what are your early thoughts on the undrafted free agent out of West Virginia?
You know what? He's got a great pedigree. You know, his dad was a good player in the league for a long time, linebacker with the Chiefs. I never liked his dad much, but he's a great kid. I think he's got the 3 technique traits that Rod Marinelli's looking for: the get off. He can slant, he can move, he can pursue. He loves it. He's got a little tweak in his back right now. We hope to get him out here by next week.
Anything more, guys?
Three preseason games. What do you think about that? What's your opinion on that compared to 4 in the past? I know you had Zebo last year, but how does it change the league? How does it change the Raiders in your attitude?
Well, we're playing 17 regular season games. So I think the trade-off, the way I understand it, was to play just 3 preseason games. I'm a big believer in the preseason games. I think it gives young people a chance to play, young quarterbacks a chance to develop. You know, I remember as a young receiver coach in Green Bay, I had a receiver, and I had the script, and I'd tell this guy what his route was. I'd tell him what the next play was, and he never made a mistake. But as soon as he got out there in the preseason game and Mike Holmgren started calling the plays and I couldn't tell him, I realized this guy didn't know our offense very well. So the preseason is a great indicator of how guys play when the lights come on. It's the only time we're ever going to practice tackling full speed. So I do think we need a few preseason games. We're also going to scrimmage the Rams. So I don't complain with anything the league decides to do. I just adapt, and I think that's what most coaches would agree on.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Nice to see everybody.